to get to where you are at, you're 28, right? Yeah.
27, sorry, 27.
At a young 27, to already have all this experience and to be able to heal people in a lot of different ways, I mean, that's really special, and you don't see that a lot because people are usually one-track minded and I'm just gonna learn it this way and this is how it goes. So I kind of want to walk people through what you and I have done together because obviously I know that experience and I'm living it. I came to you in the summer. I started at the garage in February of 2017. And so you and I didn't start working together until the summer because I was in a lot of pain. And I was in a really, really bad place. And so I had to do a lot of releases and a lot of extra chiro and the energy work, and I just had a lot of problems. So when we started together, I wasn't strong. I wasn't anywhere where I wanted to be. And I was in a lot of pain. So what was your approach at that time, and how do you handle those kinds of cases with gentle hands?
Right. Now, before I dive into that, I just want to kind of create an, set a tone real quick, that what you're talking about is a pretty big, complex case. You know what I mean? And the garage deals with that a lot. And we know at the garage that, and a lot of people are understanding this, that everything is connected and working together, all these different systems of your body. So before I even saw you, I knew that you were getting treatment. I knew that you were getting energy. I knew that you're getting all these different things. So what's nice about the garage is that, if you just worked with me, I got to worry about all that myself. But what's nice is that I can understand and know how to apply all those things when needed, but I also can say, please go see Dr. Luke, please go see this person on this day, see me on this day, see this person, you know what I mean? So we had a full plan for you, right? My job was really to see how well you're moving. What's your brain taking in with all this information, and how are these things working together on a more mechanical level, right? So my approach was actually the same approach that I'll take with just about anybody. If I know you're already getting your tissue work, I already know that that's already kind of moving down the path, right? So I do a full body movement assessment. And for some people, it can be super basic. I'll basically, for those of you that know, I'll use an FMS screen out there, and I'll do my own kind of spins to a couple of movements as I see fit. And if somebody doesn't have any pain with that, then I feel pretty confident that I can get them into some decent movements without any issues. And so that's my basic, super low level screen. You were beyond that, and I was expecting that. So what I'll do for somebody is, in your situation, is I might start with the basic level screen and just see hey, she's already been doing multiple weeks of therapy, let's see how she's doing. Or if you're walking in and you're already this hurts, this hurts, this hurts, I have a very high level movement assessment that I talked about earlier, SFMA, and I can use that on top of a bunch of other different things that I've learned to see at each piece of your body what's moving right, what's moving not so right. Because if this ankle, physically I can't move it, you can't move it yourself. So I gotta do whatever I gotta do to unstick that ankle and then teach you how to move it. But then that's not it. We gotta get the ankle back into the rest of the system, right? So when I first saw you, it was, let me assess you. Let's see what we're working with. And then once I assess you, I'm gonna see what's the most limiting thing that I'm finding. And usually I wanna go after something that's really limited, but that's not really aggravating and stressing out your body. So for example, when I first saw you, I remember you couldn't really touch your toes, right? But if you tried back bending, you were gonna scream, okay? You couldn't really rotate to the right, hurt, you couldn't really rotate to the left. So for that particular instance, my inception point to help your back at least was bending over. So what did we do? I started you're doing your loosening, you're doing all this other stuff to help, but then I started getting your body to learn how to feel comfortable doing this motion, whether it was on the ground or on your side or in a quadruped or kneeling or whatever. And as your body got better at that, we would notice, oh crap, now you can rotate more. Now you can bend back more. And as we got more and more out of that, we can start tapping into those, right? And so we started building out a routine for you. You had stuff that I asked you to do just about every single day, especially if there was a little bit of a tweak. I'd give you some very specific things to do, and then that would help alleviate it, and then you could get back into business, right? So there's daily work that just about everybody needs to do. But then we also got to talk about we live in a world where we're getting thrown around by stuff, right? And we need to be decently strong to handle all the stress and all the crap that's being thrown at us. So I firmly believe that if you're not training in some way, shape, or form, whether that's using your own body weight, whether that's using bands or whatever, using weights, using kettle, I don't care what it is, just let's get a little stronger and add that strength to some quality movement. And that's basically in a nutshell what I've been doing with you, but we're always incorporating the tissue stuff, the energy stuff, the internal health stuff. We're talking about your Ayurvedic stuff. We're doing everything we can to see what's working and blending together.
So the interesting thing is just the way, I mean, you are a progression specialist, so this speaks to that, but the way you progress from the starting point of, okay, where is she, now what do I do with her, to incorporating different movements. But then your ability to say, okay, what are your goals? And my goals were pull-ups, push-ups, squatting, being able to bridge, all that kind of stuff. And creating a entire practice to get to that point that took like 6 months because I was so far behind and because I had so many setbacks, whether I was tired, whether I was sick again or my back would give out. How do you manage all of that?
One day at a time, right? Like, how many days did you come in and you were like, oh, da, da, da. Like, all right, let me see you touch your toes. Let me see you turn around. Let me see, like, I had to reassess.
Yeah, back to basics.
I'm always reassessing, right? And what's cool about movement is it doesn't lie. So if you do something standing and you get on the floor and it looks different, something's different. You know what I mean? If I can't get you to touch your toes on the ground, but you can do a child's pose, your spine is doing what I'm gonna ask it to do eventually. Whereas if you can't touch your toes and you can't get into a child's pose, maybe we need to just do some releases today and some adjustments and just get your body a little bit more supple. So it's a reevaluation process constantly. And to your credit, I know that the camera wants to hear that you are not strong and not this, but like as my position, I've seen people who have literally like 1% strength. Like they can't hold themselves up on a plank. They can't even, they don't even know what a squat looks or feels like because they haven't done it since they were 4. You are an athlete, and you're welcome, and you have a very good kinesthetic awareness of your body. So as much as there was all this stuff going on, I'd still want you to feel like, you know, of course we could have gotten better, but you really weren't like movement-wise down in the dumps as much as some people I've worked with. So yes, it took us 6 months to get you to do like a pull-up and to be able to like do a good squat and be able to deadlift and do all these things that you wanted to do. But I do believe that your dedication and, you know, your background was able to help exponentially progress that, because you also got to do the work. You know, if you didn't do the work, nothing would have happened most likely, or it would have been very, very, very slow.
And to my credit, I will say, I made sure that once we started, I think it was last July, I've basically, unless I'm out of town, with you twice a week, every week.
About once or twice a week.
But that's where I think people get lost, is they think health and wellness and taking care of your body is like a one-stop shop. I'm gonna go do this, I'm gonna go get a massage, I'm gonna get a fascial flow and I'm gonna be great. No, you have to do things consistently. And we were building over time and tweaking and making changes. Yeah, but that building, what is it called when we would do one pull-up at a time and then go do something else and then
grease
come back?
The groove.
Yeah,
you grease the groove for your pull-up.
We were greasing the groove for everything, really.
Nice.
See, I listen.
Yeah, you do. I know you do.
But how do you translate that to people that may not have been an athlete? You know, I trained my whole life, I get it. But for people that aren't in that boat.
You get to use analogies, right? So when I was like, rest in peace Chester, when I was working with Chester, we would relate music to movement a lot, right? So here's an example. When you move, you have basically an orchestra playing. You have your bass and your trombone and your blah, 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 and everything should play together and be pretty. Well, if your drum is boom, 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 way too loud, and we're gonna use that as like, this is working too hard, you're not gonna have pretty music, right? And so that is an analogy of how the body works together to create beautiful movement. Well, if you're talking about how do you get adaptation and consistency, can you learn how to play a piano song in one try? Can you learn how to sing a song like the first time you hear it? Some people can, right? There are unicorns out there, right? But the majority of people live in a world where practice, and then we can go a level deeper. Some famous golfer would say perfect practice makes perfect. Jack Nicklaus said that. Perfect practice makes perfect. And so you have to practice. And then sadly, we live in a world where you're bombarded with magazines that say 6 weeks to a flat stomach. This diet lost 8 pounds in 12 weeks. This routine got me to my goal. And for some people that will happen. But for the majority of people, they don't know how they move. They don't realize what's going on in here. They don't even realize that if they try a certain program, it could actually cause more stress and chaos to their body than it does good. And so I feel like people just lack a basic understanding of themselves and what's going to be more beneficial for them. So I have to remind people that it starts with like some kind of assessment and understanding where you are. And then we got to come up with some kind of strategy, and I used a ton of different strategies with you based off of what we both felt we resonated with. And then after you do it a little bit, you retest and you reassess. And if you're going up in the right direction, we can probably keep doing that. And if you get stalled or stuck, then I can change it. And for you, it took about 6 months. I've had some people where it takes 6 weeks, and I've had some people where it takes 2 years. I really respect when you go on Instagram and you go on Facebook and you see these transformation journeys. I love the people that do the time lapse. I saw one woman who lost, I want to say 120 pounds, but it literally took her 2 or 3 years. And what I did is I said, okay, if she lost 120 pounds, we'll just say in 2 years, how many pounds a month is that? And I did the math. And then I said, how many pounds a week is that? And I did the math. And it came out to like 2 or 3 pounds a week. If I told you, Kelly, I just want you to try and lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, most people aren't going to be too happy about that. Right. They want to hear like, oh, I'm going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, right? But if you lose 2 pounds every week for 2 years, you lost 120 pounds. Yeah. If you can gain 1 pound of strength in a certain movement every couple of weeks for 2 years, you're looking at hundreds of pounds of strength. You know what I mean? So there's sometimes a time game, but it also needs to just help, you need to help somebody understand that there's a process and you at least kind of know where the road can take you. I might go over here, I might go over here, but you know what? I'm going the right track. And I think so many people nowadays, they do this program and as soon as they start it, they're like, what am I doing? Is this working? Is this not working? I feel different. And then maybe it's a crash and burn. Or then they jump into another one.